Also, welcome back, everyone, to Conspiracy Snacks and Tinfoil Hats, where I've been playing Minecraft while waiting.
On your
I am in.
iPad?
I'm in my 2 week iPad, my 2 week Minecraft phase, and so I'm addicted. Also, look, you
You
can see
yeah,
all my monitors in the
you go
reflection,
through phases of Minecraft.
and it's glorious. Hold on, I have to save and quit though because the developers have been stupid. It's been a. Don't get me started on
Didn't know
Minecraft.
there was Minecraft like
No, so okay, wait, hold on.
controversies.
No, there's not a controversy, but there's like a bug in Realms right now. Like I've been online and it's been happening. So Realms, I pay like $10 a month so that like you can invite. There's 10 people that can be on at a time, but you can invite people and they can all get on and play,
Yeah.
no matter what. Like someone could get on at 4 a.m. and be on the same world that someone then at 1 p.m. is whatever. But it's been like if when people are playing, it'll just all of a sudden say you're disconnected. So typically when you are on someone's world, that's just like they're playing on their console, their computer, whatever, and you join it, they're like hosting the world. So if they save and quit, you get this notification that says, "Hey, you're disconnected from the host. The host got off," and that kind of thing. But on Realms, it's supposed to fix that because it's always live, like it's always there. The past
Mm.
2 days, it's been doing the thing where like we'll be on. I'll even be on, and I'm the owner of the realm. I'll be on, and then it kicks everyone off the realm, and it says you've been disconnected from host, and it's like, and then it's bad because the realm saves every 30 minutes like automatically. But if you're at like 25 minutes and no one has like saved and quit, and then it kicks you out, you lose 25 minutes of work.
That sucks.
And it's only happened like twice, but one it happened one my nieces were over Thursday night. It was like 2 a.m. We were all doing stuff, kicked all three of us out. We logged back in. We had lost like 15 minutes. And we were like, well, that's it. We're calling we're going
Yeah.
to bed.
That would
Like,
be my 13th reason.
no, it's been and like sometimes it's comical because like yesterday we were playing too and we were like, okay, let's go to this new like mountain range and like explore it. And so we all got ready, we all put on leather boots so you don't fall in the snow. We were almost there, kicked all of us out, and we just sat there for a minute and we're like, do we even want to know? Do we even want to know? We
I
logged
don't.
back in and luckily it saved. Sometimes it just pulls right back up where you were, like,
Yeah.
and then sometimes it doesn't. But I kept wondering if it was something I did, but I got online and a lot of people it's happening to a lot of people, and then I had to email um, Mojang or Mahjong or whatever, whoever.
You emailed.
Well, like you go to their website and you go to the help center and it submits a ticket. Well, I guess I submitted a
Oh,
ticket and it emailed me, so like you get
gotcha,
the.
gotcha.
So I didn't like shit down. I didn't like
Yeah, I
email the
thought you
head
were
of
like being
Mojang being
like
like, "What the
Karen.
hell's going on?" No,
I just want to play my Minecraft.
I mean, I will do that next.
Oh shit.
Who's the developer of Minecraft? Someone get me their email.
Yeah.
Get them on the horn. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. Anyways, so wait, what did you do last night? I know you were out having
Also, we
fun.
didn't we didn't do our intro.
I did. I said welcome to Conspiracy Snacks and Tinfoil Hats. Oh, I didn't introduce myself, but I'm
You
Connor.
did?
Yeah. I
Oh,
said welcome to Conspiracy and Snacks and Tinfoil Hats where I play, and then I showed my.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So, but I'm
What
Connor.
did you ask? I'm at one.
Hey.
Hi, sorry, I'm hungover.
Hence why I was asking, what did you do last night?
So me and Kaylee uh had planned like this cousin date and it worked out because she like has not been she's been pretty depressed and so we planned to go to Chili's and we went to Chili's
Hi,
and we
welcome to Chili's.
shared a triple dipper and we got
Ew,
the
you
marg
shared
well
a triple
because we
dipper?
wanted to get drunk.
Oh, okay.
So less
Yes.
food. But it's
Hmm.
still like we each had two sliders and then each got
No, that's the thing. A
mozzarella
triple dipper
stick.
is actually a lot of food too, so
Yeah.
like it's a good thing to
So
split. But
we
also, I'm
shared
like, you didn't
one.
get your own. Okay.
I know, usually, but I wanted to, get
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we got two of the margaritas of the month, which was it was like a Love Island one.
Ooh.
And it was National Tequila Day yesterday, so everywhere we went, all the margaritas were super cheap, which was nice.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we were there, and then we went to the Pike. You've been
Hmm.
there. And we saw one of our friends there, and she was with her brother. And so we ended up hanging out with her. Because, like, before we got there, like, we were kind of, well, I was like, let's have fun. But I could tell Kaylee was kind of like, like,
Yeah.
but then we met up with that friend, and it, like, changed the whole tone of the night. And
Nice.
we got frosés, which are lethal. We each got three, and I got
That's
everyone to
crazy.
get one. So like the whole table was drinking them and getting fucked up. And then we left Pike at like midnight or 12:30, and this guy,
And then went to Vine or whatever.
no. So they were saying, they're like, "Oh, we were just at this other dive bar. They have pool tables and really cheap drinks." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love pool." So we walked to that one to go play pool, but it was like busy, so we like put our quarter to like be in line,
Yeah.
but we didn't end up getting to play. But they had like a golf game. You know the golf arcade games where it has the little ball and you like do that?
Yeah, like on a screen.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
screen and
yeah.
then there's a little ball. Yeah, we played 18 holes of that
That's
instead.
crazy.
And we
We
did
did a
touch
full 18
tunes.
holes. Yeah.
And yeah, and then we had fun there. At one point I found a vacuum and was carrying it. Um and then we ended the night at
Like what
Taco
kind of
Bell.
vacuum?
It was just a vacuum on the street.
Like a heavy
Like
duty,
it
like
was
a
a
shark
small one.
vacuum. Okay.
No, it was
Like
like
a
a
hand
thin,
vacuum?
like a skinny one. No, it was like a big one,
Oh.
but like skinny, like light.
Hmm. A
Um
vacuum light? TM?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we ended the night at Taco Bell because we found one that was open till 4 a.m.
The one by my house is open till 4 a.m. They've
Yeah.
slowly opened their ounces. And let
And it
me
was
tell
open
you,
like inside. Like
oh, the inside seat, the inside's
inside
not
was
open.
open till 4 a.m.
Also, I love Taco Bell. We've talked about this.
Yeah, we were saying Live Moss Strong last night. That's what we kept saying.
I love Taco Bell. Like, don't even get me started.
We were
I will
like, we
like
don't care about the diarrhea lettuce. Like, we gotta support Taco Bell.
no, here's the thing. Taco Bell we've talked about this. I thought for the longest time the Taco Bell diarrhea was a joke. Taco Bell never gives me diarrhea.
You're
You're
one of the
just not
chosen
pure.
ones.
Yeah, you just got to be pure of heart, and you're not.
Yeah,
Sorry, but at the same time, you're not pure of heart.
I
Just
just have
everything
diarrhea.
gives you diarrhea.
Yeah, yeah. And in
So
the Taco Bell, they had a new taco. It was like a crispy chicken avocado ranch taco, and it was
oh
so
yeah.
good.
See, here's the thing. I Taco Bell does a lot. A lot of their new stuff I don't fuck with until it's
It's
proven
like a
itself.
classic. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm like, give me a 5 layer cheesy burrito, a cheesy gordita crunch, their potato soft their like spicy potato soft tacos. Mwah! They're just their bean and rice cheese burrito. Oh, man, I'm gonna get some Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh,
I said I
good.
was gonna talk about it on the podcast. Maverick.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
I stand by Maverick being
It's
the
the
best
best
gas
gas station.
station I've ever been to. One, they
People will
had
say
because
Buc-ee's is better, but
well, okay, yeah, but Bucky's is like only in like Texas and
yeah,
like
this,
3 states, right?
yeah,
Maverick's at least expanded to several states
yeah.
now. Where
Not
is Bucky's?
California.
But not California. So, anyways, the snack of the podcast sponsored by, not sponsored, I wish, by Haribo
Haribo.
Twin Snakes. They didn't have the duo eggs either. Ho.
You
Just
didn't
kidding.
say duo eggs. You
That
said
was
like
the
the
first one
mega
I said.
crawlers or whatever.
Oh, those two. You could have done those.
Yeah,
Anyways.
my gas station kind of sucks, honestly.
Oh, so then, anyways, I was there. I went to go get these snakes. I also was hungry. I got, you know how we got that chicken sandwich from Maverick in Utah, and it was so good. I've been like, I need to try Maverick's food more often. I got their like smoked brisket burrito, $6.
Was it good?
It was so good.
No, they have good food. It's
It was
it's kind of,
so good.
but I always feel like so gross
You're
or
like
like
buying,
embarrassed when you're like
right?
buying
You're like
something
gas
from.
station food.
I'm like,
I
I'm
don't know
buying a
why.
gas station chicken sandwich. That's embarrassing, but it's so
No, but it's so good. And then on top of it, I also saw, I think it was an ad for Maverick, but it was about making coffee there. I made coffee. This was $2.70. And honestly, I've had
pretty
worse
good.
coffee from coffee stands. So like
There
the
you
best
go.
coffee I've ever had? No. It's just some vanilla coffee and some creamer. Simple, good. So Maverick, top S
Step up.
tier. S tier.
Or not step up. Other gas stations need to step up. Like I've never felt unsafe out of Maverick either.
No.
And it's always clean
Yep.
and they have so many snacks and so many drinks and they do have the best Dr. Pepper ever.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm,
Yeah, I
mm-hmm.
miss Maverick. That's probably the number one thing I miss about Utah.
Well, if you ever come visit me and Julie, we'll just go to Maverick every day.
Okay, thank you.
It'll be
I
like the
do. I
like,
want to come visit.
ew, you want to what and visit?
I want to
That's
come visit.
disgusting. Also, I just want to keep bringing up your slip up from our stream on
No,
Wednesday.
we
I'm
don't
not
need to
gonna
talk about
again,
it.
but that'll come out. Go watch next week's stream, everyone. The one that's released, not our actual stream. To hear Avalon slip up, it's really funny.
It's not. No, it is. It is funny.
It's really funny because you can
But
tell
I
it's
just
really
am
an
like,
accent.
I
You're gonna get canceled.
don't want to get canceled.
Okay, you ready for our pod or our conspiracy this month?
Yes.
Um, with this conspiracy, I found it through the Conspiracy Theories podcast with that Carter Roy,
Hmm.
one of my favorite podcasts. He's amazing.
He does so much
He does
research.
so much research. And then I watched a documentary, and I'll list the names. I watched a whole documentary, guys. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
And then a bunch of Wikipedia articles. Again, this one's not super long. Like most of the conspiracy part is actually just a crazy story, but then you kind of find out some weird things about it. So we'll crack into it. We'll see how it's going. But hopefully it's interesting. It's like I also did these notes. I'm gonna be really honest. Cleopatra and King Tut, I felt like I like did the notes and then I went back and reread them and like made them flow really well. These ones I did the notes, we're rolling with it. So it might be
Okay.
a complete shit show.
No, I trust you.
But here's the problem. I've been so focused on Minecraft, I was like, I have to get this done and then I can't get to Minecraft.
That's crazy.
Like literally, I wake up, Minecraft. Fall asleep, I dream about being in the mines. I'm in there chopping cobblestone all day.
Wow. I know. I'm
Not
like
really. I don't dream.
excited to just play video games today, I think.
Ooh, you're nice.
Because I
I'm
don't
gonna
have
go
plans till later.
to a pool.
Mm,
I'm gonna go be in the sun. Kill me. Do I really want to? Not really, but I'm like, I love summer so much, and I have to take advantage of pool days.
yeah. I've done a
So
lot of
annoying.
sun this week, so I deserve an inside day.
Okay, Miss Fancy. I don't go to work. I just do Sundays.
I didn't go to work.
Do you? Okay. Anyways, this month's conspiracy is Dr. Peter B. Neubauer's twin study. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Hence, twin snakes. So we're going to be talking about some twins today. And I also thought this was really interesting because you have twins.
I do.
So I'm hoping you have insight from just like,
Is
do
this
they
like the nurture versus nature thing?
kind of, but kind of crazy. But yes.
Okay.
But we're going to start in 1980.
Okay.
It's 1980. Robert Shafran is excited to begin college and is attending Sullivan County Community College in upstate New York. It's about 100 miles away from New York City. where he grew up. So he was like in Long Island, like he was more of like the city.
Hmm.
Um, in this documentary about him, he shares that he had never really been popular, but he arrives to this new community college and he's looking around for his dorm, trying to figure out where he's going to go for this new school year. And as he's looking around, people start coming up to him and they're greeting him, saying like, "Hi, how are you doing? How was your summer?" And it's bizarre and it's really overly friendly. He said that people were saying that they missed him. They gave him hugs, high fives, and like one girl actually comes up and even like kisses him and tells him that he's glad he came back. And the dude's like, "What the
What?
fuck is happening?" Like, he's like, "This isn't even just like, oh, like it's the first day of school. Everyone's trying to be friendly to each other. Like, this is weird. Like, this is not."
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm a freshman. I'm gonna just go find my dorm. We'll figure this out later. Whatever. So he gets to his dorm. Oh, as he's walking to his dorm, he's going up and someone runs up to him. And as he remember his name's Robert, but they're yelling Eddie. And then he goes, "Eddie, Eddie," and he turns around and he's like, "My name's not fucking Eddie." "My name's not Eddie." And the kid's like,
Robert.
"The kid, stop, like you're Eddie, just shut up." Like and
Yeah.
Robert's like, "No, I'm dead ass. I'm Robert." And he just like turns around and continues to his dorm. He arrives and begins to unpack, and then there's a knock on the door. That's where we meet Michael Domnitz. He's there, and when Robert answers the door, Michael's face like drops. He's like, he turns white because he is looking at Robert, but he's like, "This is my really good friend Eddie in front of me. Like, what? Like, what's going on?" But like, no, like knows Eddie well enough to be like, it's not like I'm talking, but it's not Eddie,
Yeah,
but like
it's not
this is Eddie.
Eddie.
So Michael, he's like super just like chill about it, and the first thing out of his mouth is he just goes, "Were you adopted?" So imagine your
It's a
first
great
day.
icebreaker question.
Imagine your first day of college, and someone's like, "Hey, were you adopted?" So
Hey,
annoying.
you know what
Um,
kind of train this is?
so Robert's like, "What the? Yeah, I was adopted. Like, how?
How'd
What
you
the fuck?"
know?
Like, um, and so then Michael, this other kid at the door, says, "Is your birthday July 12th?" And Robert's like, "What the fuck? Yeah, like, how do you know my birthday?" And Michael just blurts out, he says, "You have a twin brother." Like, okay, no.
Michael, Michael
Michael
dropping the
Michael
craziest lore.
dropping bars. And I'm just like, okay, this is such a funny story, but I'm also like, imagine being Robert. You're like, shut the fuck up. This is my first day at a new school and you're
Yeah.
gonna try like, but for
Oh,
some
you have a
reason,
twin?
yeah. And I'd be like, leave me alone. Leave me, like, I think about you. I actually remember, do you even remember at BYU, you would text me about this kid that you'd see in classes sometimes, and you're like, "Dude, you have a doppelganger on campus." Do you remember that?
Me?
Yes, you would text me it.
I
And I'm
don't think it
like,
was me.
"No, Avalon, I promise it was you." And you were like, there was some kid that looked like me on campus at BYU, and you were like, "He's your doppelganger," and you would see him randomly, and then, but I never saw him. But anyways, so
I
I'm picturing
don't
like
remember this.
even you telling me that I had a doppelganger. I was like, okay, what? They, they're
You
fat and
didn't
have
believe
brown
me.
hair. Like what?
Yeah.
Like, like anyways. So, I just wouldn't believe, like, even someone like you saying I had a
Yeah, yeah.
doppelganger, I
You
was like,
wouldn't
I
believe.
don't. So if someone's like, "Hey, you have a twin brother," and you've never met him, I'd be like, "Fuck off, go away."
Yeah.
But Robert's weird because he's like, doesn't punch Michael in the face. He's like, okay. And so Robert's like, "Hey, follow me." They go down we're in 1980, so they go outside, they go to the payphone, and Robert calls his friend Eddie. Michael passes the
You
phone
mean
to Robert.
Michael calls
Mike,
Eddie?
yeah, Michael calls Eddie. Did I say
Okay.
Robert calls Eddie?
Yeah.
Michael calls Eddie and then passes the phone to Robert. And when Robert takes the phone, he says he's surprised when on the other line he's greeted by a voice, or he's greeted by his own voice.
Okay, but twins don't have the same fucking
That's what I'm
voice.
saying. But supposedly they talk similar. But Robert is like, "Hey, dude, I'm here on campus, and everyone keeps saying I'm you. Like, hey."
Yes. Can we FaceTime?
Like, this is what's so crazy though. So I'm like, I wouldn't believe this if this happened now, but the fact that it's happening over payphones in 1980
Yeah.
is insane to me.
Yeah.
But Eddie is like, hey, yeah, like I've gotten some phone calls today. Like I wasn't going, like I went there last year, but like I wasn't gonna go back this year, or whatever. So people have been calling Robert. He says, hey, Eddie, are you adopted? And Eddie says yes. And then they say like when's your birthday? They both were born on July 12th. Robert asks Eddie if he knows the name of the agency. Robert hears Eddie like on the other end of the phone ask his mom if she knows. And then he says it was through Louise Wise Services, a Jewish affiliated adoption agency in New York City. And that was the same adoption agency that Robert was adopted from.
Why would they split up twins?
So Robert is like, holy shit, we need to meet. They get in Robert's car and they drive up to Eddie's. They said it was like 9 p.m. at night. They were going hundreds of miles per hour on the route. They got pulled over by a cop, and they were trying to tell the cop. They were like, hey, no, like this guy just found out he has a twin brother. We're going up to meet him, blah, blah, blah. And guess what the cop does?
What?
He says, I don't give a fuck, and gives him a ticket.
I mean, yeah, sounds about right. Cops don't give a shit. One time I literally put water on myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I peed my pants. And he was like, sorry. And still gave me a ticket.
I didn't know you had done that. What the shit? When was that?
My like junior year of high school.
That's crazy.
Hey, what? I wasn't speeding. I had like done a rolling stop at a stop sign.
Oh.
And he was like getting mad, and I was like, I really had to pee. I was trying to get home. And he was like, too bad.
he watched you pour water on yourself and be like, I peed. And he's like, this bitch is so fucking annoying. Okay. So they get to Eddie's house. Robert walks up to knock on the door, but Eddie's waiting for him. So he opens the door as Robert's coming up, and they're surprised to see what looks like a reflection of themselves staring back at them. Also, okay, so this is Michael was with Robert, taking him to Eddie, and he's watching this and he's like, "Holy shit!" His jaw's on the floor, whatever. But then he's talking about it in this documentary, and I'm also like, okay, you guys are making this up a little bit. But he talks about them like actually facing each other, just like staring at each other, and they did the whole like. No. They'd like raise one hand together and like move. And I'm like, okay, they probably were like, well, what's going on? And like, but I'm like,
well, in the documentary, did you see a picture? Do they really look that identical?
No, they do look really. Oh, wait, I have pictures. Let me text them to you. Because, whoa. Oh, wait. So this is.
Put it in the. Can you put it in the chat?
The problem is, let me see if I can do it on there. How do I do it here? Out. Chat, studio chat, copy. So that's the thing. Is like your sisters look alike, but they're not like.
They don't. Guys... They just look like sisters. Well, they're fraternal. Yeah. They're not identical.
Oh, okay. Well, and these guys are identical. Yeah, it doesn't let me do a picture in the chat.
Oh.
Let me see, though, because I actually was just watching. Oh, wait. Media. Upload images. Desktop.
Oh.
Okay. I think you can look at the media board now. I don't know. On your phone, anyway, I don't know how to like, it says it's in the media board now, but I don't know like how to put it on the chat. Anyways, stupid.
Can you text them to me or no?
No, I did text it to you. Oh, look, I put it on. Did you see it? Come back.
Oh, yeah.
So that's them.
Okay. Yeah, they look pretty similar.
Pretty similar? What?
Like, I could tell the difference.
Okay, yes, you could tell the difference, but at the same time, you're meeting someone for the first time and you look that similar.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, yes, they're not like you. Yeah, you can tell that they're
Yeah.
twins and they're not a clone of each other. Anyways,
Yeah.
so okay, because wait, then I'm gonna upload this then for later, and I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so they meet each other. Michael just says they do the whole twin thing. Okay, so they meet, and in their minds they meet. They look that identical, and in their minds they're like, "There's no doubt that we're twins. We're twins."
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So Howard Schneider, he's an editor for Newsday, which is a newspaper on Long Island. He gets a call about something crazy that's happening in upstate New York. Um, he gets told this whole story about the twins, and he's like, "This is bullshit. Like they're
Yeah.
just fucking making this up. This is crazy. I don't believe it until someone goes up." So he sends a reporter to meet the boys, and he talks about they like had a plane. The newspaper had like its own plane that like flew the reporter up.
Damn.
I'm like, what the hell? And the reporter goes up, does all this stuff, and finds out that it's true, that there's no doubt that they're twins. Like, I don't know if they did a DNA test, actually, but like, they're twins. He was sent a reporter, and they start publishing on all the papers about this heartwarming story about the two brothers that found each other, despite all odds. This is a really heartwarming story. And then there's Ellen Cervone, and she is in New York. She's on the subway. Again, this is the 80s, so no one has phones. So she's reading the newspaper. She reads this article, and it's like, hey, this is really fascinating. Like, that's like a crazy story. But she doesn't really think too much about it. But then she gets home, she goes to bed, and her mother wakes up and is like, did you see this article about these twins? And she's like, yeah, it was really cool. And then she's like, did you see the picture? And she's like, no, like the newspaper that I had didn't have a picture. So the mom has her newspaper, hands it to her. It's a different newspaper, has a picture of the boys this time. And she says, oh my God, is that David? If you've noticed, we haven't talked about a David.
What?
So her mom says, no, it's not David, but look at the hands. What? This is the weirdest part of this thing. So then there's Alan Looks. He also sees this article and is surprised by the resemblance of his friend David to these two twins. And he also talks about their hands and how, like, in the like documentary they show this picture and like their hands, they just kind of have like, I don't know, but Alan describes them as David's hands were always like baseball mitts and like they look like they have similar hands. Whatever. So David, he's going to school the next day, and Alan comes in and is like, hey, did you like take a look at this? And he like throws like the thing at him. And he's like, haha, this is funny. But then David looks and he sees a picture, and it's the two boys, Robert and Eddie.
Yeah.
And he says that it looks like them, but he is kind of like, oh, this is funny, like we look similar, blah blah blah, whatever. But then he's reading the article, and they put the details of the
Robert.
Eddie and Robert's like births, so like the hospital they were born,
Yeah.
the birthday that they were adopted from, Louise Wise. And as David's reading this, he's like, wait, that's my birthday.
Triplets.
That's the hospital I was born at. That's the same adoption agency. So he's like, this is too much. Fuck this. I'm skipping school today. He goes home, and his mom is sitting there with a cup of coffee and the newspaper, and is like, holy shit, did you see this? And so David is like, what's going on? What is going on? So he decides he's going to get on the phone. They have the operators. We didn't have that before. He's like, hey, yeah. And so he gets a hold of gets a call. He's trying to get a hold of Eddie. And he gets a hold of Eddie's mom, and he's like, hey, is Eddie home? And she says, no, but who's calling? And so David goes, well, my birthday was July 12th. I was born blah, blah, blah hospital from Lucid. And he's like, and anyway, I think, I think I'm Robert and Eddie's brother. Triplet or whatever. And so David says he remembers. He like kind of rushes all the way out, and he's like, I remember like hearing that it felt like she like dropped the phone, and then Alan, David's friend, was with him, and he's like, I remember hearing her say over the phone, oh my God, they're coming out of the woodwork. It's like,
just all of these clones.
you have this kid that you adopted, and all of a sudden within like couple weeks of each other. He has two brothers. Like,
Identical. Yeah.
so anyways, they decide to meet. They all get together at David's aunt's house, and that is when they confirm that they're not just twins, they're triplets.
That's crazy.
Um, and so it's really interesting because they all meet, they're all 19. Is it going to be something great? Like these kids finding each other? Is it going to be terrible?
Why would it be
But anyways,
terrible?
they all meet. It was already a big heartwarming piece about the twins finding each other, but now there's triplets, and so they become media sensations. They're on
Yeah.
talk shows. They're in a Madonna movie. They're in like they literally take the world by storm. They move to New York. They get an apartment together. They open a restaurant together. All these different things. They're flying high.
Dang.
They found out like weird things that they all loved the same Marlboro cigarettes. They liked the same colors. They had the same taste in food. And something else that they thought was weird that they all had an older sister that was age 21, like that was 2 years older than them. Um, they so as
Was
they
that
continued
planned
to
on purpose?
well, we're gonna talk about that. As they continued to get to know each other, they started to see some crazy things. They had noticed that they had one had been adopted into an upper class family, one a middle class family, and one a lower class family. Bobby had been born into his father was a doctor and his mother was an attorney, so very affluent
I know.
in a rich neighborhood in New York. Eddie's dad was a teacher and they lived in the suburbs. He had a college degree, like very considered middle class. And then David had been adopted by a family that had been immigrants. English was their second language. They owned like more blue collar and they like owned a store kind of thing.
David
So
was probably like, "What the fuck?
literally, it was he talks about it in the
Why
documentary. He like makes
me?"
funny comments. He like talks about this car and he's like, "Oh, this guy in his car," like like just like he's just a funny guy. Um, so then they were the mini celebrities. They were losing their mind. However, what's really interesting is while everyone in the nation is like, "Holy shit, this is so cool! This is such a good story," all sets of their parents were like, "What the fuck? Like,
Yeah. Like,
we
why
didn't
weren't we told
know.
about this?
Why didn't we know that you guys had? Why didn't we know you guys were triplets? Like,
Yeah.
what
Because usually,
shit?"
like, why'd they separate you? Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't
so like the
you?
parents are not so thrilled. They're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
like this is really cool." It was actually really heartwarming. They talked about I think it was David's dad, but they talked about like when David's dad met the brothers, he was like, "I have two more sons." Like literally they
Oh,
all just like love
became like a
the
big family.
yeah. Um so the the parents were pissed, so they arranged a meeting with Louise Wise agency. Um, the six of them go in. They're like, "What the fuck is happening?" And the adoption agency admits that they split up the boys. And they were like, "Why? Why did you do that?" And the adoption agency pretty much said that finding homes for triplets at the time would have been too hard.
I
Like,
mean, fair.
yes, but also, but then like specifically, I
But
think all sets
disclose
of
that.
parents were like, "Hey, we would have taken all three." Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like the parents were like, "We wanted more
yeah.
kids." Like that's
Yeah.
so the parents were pissed. And so but they had this meeting and it was like just this whole like roundabout meeting. You know, like when you have those kind of things where you're like, "Hey, I want to get to the bottom of this," and you're just spun in
Just
circles.
going in
That's how they
circles.
felt.
Yeah.
So they leave. They leave. It's raining outside, and Robert's dad is like, "Oh shit, I forgot my umbrella. I'm gonna run back inside." He runs back inside to grab his umbrella, and he can see that like the heads of the agency, like they're opening a bottle of champagne and are like toasting each other. And he's like, "What the fuck is this?" But like pretty much like celebrating that they like weren't gonna get sued or that they're
Yeah. Yeah.
anyways weird. So the that we'll come back to that. So the boys started. They moved to New York. They moved in together. They opened a restaurant called Triplets. And this was like one big like
Clever.
no, literally, and it was like he said they were all Jewish because it was the Jewish adoption agency. So he was like it was like one big bar mitzvah every night. Like people would just come in, they'd get people drunk. Like they were
Was
like
it like a Jewish restaurant?
no, I don't think it was like I think it just because they
Oh,
were like it brought in a
yeah.
lot of Jewish pizza and like they but the boys were young and they were like, yeah, let's get everyone in, let's get people drunk, like let's like just have they just
Yeah,
had like this like charisma,
parties.
and so people loved it. So now we're going to introduce another person. This is Lawrence Wright. We're now in the mid 90s, and he is working on an article for a newspaper about the study of nature versus nurture, blah, blah, blah. He comes to a study titled The Psychoanalytic Study of the Child, which was co-written by Peter Neubauer, which
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
know
titled
him.
this, Peter Neubauer's twin study. Um, and it references this like study about identical siblings that had been separated to answer questions about nature versus nurture. Um, and he's like, oh, this is an interesting, like it references this study, but like he can't find any information on this study. He's like,
No.
this would be a crazy study, like it would have a ton of information about it. So he it starts doing the digging. He starts finding out all these different things. He starts putting the clues together. It's like he's like a investigative reporter then. um and he finds out that the similarities of these that there had been other sets of siblings that had been separated that all came from the same Louise Wise services in New York
Interesting.
City. So now Peter Neubauer, he was a psychologist, and he was of a belief that in the science community, well, in the science community, it's kind of well known that like identical twins are pretty like amazing, and like it's like the closest you can get to a genetic match without like cloning.
Yeah.
So scientists like identical twins because you can kind of be able to study effects of things. So like one of the things that Carter Roy mentioned on Conspiracy Podcast is one of the, was it Buzz Aldrin? One of the they picked an astronaut that
Astronauts.
had a twin brother so that they could study like after being in space the differences,
Oh.
that so like stuff like that. So but Peter Neubauer was born in Austria, and he was born into a small Jewish community. He was a psychologist that had moved to New York in 1941 to escape the occupation from the Nazis. It is suggested that he wanted to solve this time-old question of nature versus nurture. In 1960s, the Louise Wise Adoption Services director had a policy. This was a typical policy that they had at the adoption agency, to split up twins. It was something about them wanting the kids to have more like one-on-one attention from the parents rather than like because there's three of them, which I
Yeah.
remember learning that in like a sociology class. You have like a pie of your time, and like the more kids you have, the
Yeah.
more slices of pie, blah blah blah. So like that kind of makes sense, but
But
with the in the case of the triplets, they all had older sisters, like they all had
yeah. Yeah.
other kids. So it's like it wasn't a fact of like you didn't want them to have, it wasn't like they were adopted as only children,
Yeah.
like, so that doesn't really make sense. um with these twins, they split up twins, and they told families that these children were part of a scientific study that studied the development of adopted children, and they encouraged families to keep them in them, kind of like an ultimatum, like, hey, we have this kid for you,
Hmm.
but they're part of the scientific study, you have to keep them in. However, they weren't told, oh, they're twins being studied. They said, oh, we're just studying their development because they're adopted. So
Mm.
every few months for 2 years, and then once a year for a year following up until the age of 12, the Louise Weiss Services, the studying agency, would send out researchers and pediatricians to the split twins to be able to monitor and film them. So
Interesting.
we know in this study that there was at least 13 siblings, including the triplets. So the triplets and then five other pairs of twins that were
Dang.
separated during the study. They didn't necessarily all like complete the study, which is interesting, but we'll talk about that. But there's another story of a set of twins that one was at a birthday, but they were age 6. One was at a birthday party, and some kid, it was a set of twin girls, but she goes to a birthday party, and this kid like just keeps staring at her, and she's like, this kid's fucking weird. Not as a
Hmm.
6-year-old, but like what's going on. Tells or the boy who's staring at her tells his mom about this girl at the birthday party that looks exactly like their um
Neubauer.
neighbor. So that comes through, and then they find out that these two girls that lived just like a half hour from each other were twins. And so they went first to the adoption agency and were like, what the fuck? And they were like, oh, yeah, we did do that. Also, you shouldn't tell them about each other because that can be really bad for their development. So then they knew, but they didn't find out. And then because the parents were like, okay, these doctors are telling us like it's bad for the development of our kids to like meet each other right now. They're like, okay. So these twin girls don't find out that they have a twin until they're 17, which is
That's
crazy.
crazy. I'd
Um,
be pissed at my parents.
right? But at the same time, like they don't, especially in what, the 70s,
Yeah, they just 80s.
whatever. Um, so all these stories are coming out. People are like, "Hey, we'd love to see these results of the study too," but the study's never published. It's just referenced in that article. There's as some of these twins are coming out of the woodwork. There's a lot of investigation into it. There's a 60 Minutes episode that's like developed but is never aired.
Hmm.
And the adoption agency and Neubauer hire PR people, and they start like telling Lawrence Wright that the study will be published soon, even though this is in like the 90s now, and it got completed in like the 80s. He doesn't want to talk about it until even in his 80s, he talks about he doesn't want to talk about it until it's published. Lawrence Wright, the investigative reporter, is the one who called Robert of the triplets and then told, because these boys found each other and they were like, oh my God, we're triplets. But he called and was like, hey, you were part of a study. So separating, like, this is why you were
Yeah,
separated from your
yeah.
brothers. And what's pretty crazy is we've talked about this, but in the documentary, Robert's like, this is crazy. Like, this is like some Nazi level shit.
Yeah, it's giving
So
Stranger Things.
it's giving Stranger Things. Holy poop.
What
Sorry.
happened?
Nothing. I'm just an idiot. Uh, so I went on like a little bit of a deep dive. I'm not going to talk much about it, but this guy, he was born Jewish, but escaped here. So he wasn't like German, like wasn't Nazi and escaped here, but was in Europe during that time that the Nazis grew to power.
Wait, who?
Neubauer.
Okay, okay.
So, but he was working with it. So, anyways, it's just interesting too that like they targeted a Jewish adoption agency
Yeah.
around this time too. So it is really crazy. And when I was doing research, I found out that the Nazis loved twins.
Yeah,
They
I did know
really like
that.
they did some crazy stuff.
Hitler, yeah.
Yeah, Hitler, and there was a new guy. I don't even think I wrote in his name because I didn't really want to talk about that. But I was like, oh, so like it's just so fascinating to see the parallels of like we talked about how we've talked about this on the podcast, but like you look at the Nazis and you're like, that shit's wild. The States has been doing that same shit. Like
Yeah.
maybe a little more covertly and maybe a little more humanely. Like we didn't send everyone to gas chambers and stuff, but
Yeah.
like ethically we have some issues.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving
We
on.
did internment camps, which is like,
Yeah. Which and it was crazy. I was reading and it was literally like this a guy who loved twins. It wasn't about twins, but he was the one that sent there was like an outbreak of some like fever or something, and you just took like half the camp and literally gassed them. And
oh,
I started to get I was like I gotta stop. I gotta stop reading about World War II because,
I
but it
know.
always comes
I'm,
back to World War II, right?
yeah, because I'm going to DC next weekend, and my stepdad was asking, like, there's a bunch of museums. Like, is there any museum that you would want to go to? And they have the Holocaust Museum there.
Oh,
And
you
I
have to
was like,
go.
I really want to go. And I'm like, that sounds bad. Because I'm like, I love the Holocaust. And I was like, wait, that sounds
You're
bad.
like, yeah, no, I don't love the Holocaust, but
But
like,
it's so fascinating to me, like on a psychological level.
yeah, because
And
that
it,
was your degree. Like that's what you studied
yeah.
too was like
And
psychology. I'm
that's
like,
what like got me into psychology was like learning about the Holocaust and World War
well,
II. And
okay,
like,
not that we need to get really into it, but I think that's what I loved. The Odyssey. We talked about. I love that
Yeah,
movie, but I loved it so much because it talks about like the atrocities of just
of
like
that war.
humans, and it
Yeah,
talked about like repeating and like there's that monologue at the end and he's talking about like, oh, like we ruined Zeus's law, blah blah blah, like
yeah.
we took these steps that ruined everything forever and people are going to forget and they're going to do it too. And I was literally was thinking about
Oh, I've just
how
got chills.
no, it's literally the movie was so good because I was like, I feel like we've talked about the similarities that we've seen between Nazi Germany and like things that the United States government has done recently. And you're like, hey, like, yeah, we're not to Nazi Germany, but like these are some
But
similar
yeah,
things that, and like we're like seeing that like, and it's like, let's
because
not repeat the cycle.
people always talk about how crazy the Holocaust is and like how did the world ever get to that? And I'm like,
I'm like, hey,
now
we're
I'm like,
we
oh, that's
and then
very
there's just such
real.
hatred and like you see the hatred that people have in this country for people that are just
And how
different
easily manipulated people can be,
and
and
you're like,
like
hey, like
propaganda is crazy.
so anyways,
So fun. Anyways, twins.
twins. Oh, gross. So new where was I in these notes? Oh, so David and Robert in the documentary are telling us about their experience and they remember the scientists coming to their house and doing tests with the boys and they remember them filming all of it. There was all these weird things they learned, like the kids in the study were all adopted by parents that had older children. um the members of the study, oh, and then they all kind of started to think about like other reasons that they could have been split up and why they'd want to study these kids like
Mhm.
more. And there was some speculation that possibly Neubauer wanted to study about the predisposition of mental health on kids because the
Mm.
triplets actually all talked about having sought psychiatric care in their teen years. And then one of the other sets of twins talked about how they found out that their birth mom had schizophrenia. And so, like, potentially, maybe one of the other reasons that they wanted to study these kids was the predisposition of mental health on
Yeah.
kids. So, still nature
They
versus
love
nurture.
they love schizophrenia studies too.
Yeah. So, um, was oh, so then, but one of the research assistants and one of the guys who's been really like the reason we know so much about this study because he's been willing to talk. He said that when he was helping with all of this stuff, he didn't really like there was nothing about mental health. It was all
Mm.
just development of the kids and nature versus nurture,
Seeing
that
how
kind of thing.
different, yeah,
So it doesn't
environments.
necessarily mean that that's not the case because he could have just not been a part of that side. So, but anyways, and we will get to that. We don't
People
know.
lie.
People can lie. Now, there's one thing that I know about scientists. It's that they love to keep data and they love to keep records, right? Like that's the
Hmm.
whole thing. You write down your observations, you record things, you do all these different things. So there should be records about all this study that Neubauer did with his twins, right?
Hmm.
He also died in 2008. And pretty much everyone that was involved in performing the study is dead. So why don't we know what happened to the
Happened.
study?
Yeah.
Um, it's because before he died, Neubauer donated all of the records to the Yale Institute of Research, and when they did that, he had the institute seal all these files until the year 2065.
What the hell?
Why are we
Wait, why do
sealing?
I feel like I know that? Or is that
You've probably heard that.
but
Like
there's
it's
I feel like this isn't the first. I'm pretty sure the JFK assassination they also did
oh
that
yeah,
and we're
they
like
like
you
have
can't.
sealed files
Yeah. That's so stupid.
about a study about twins.
And I'm
And so,
like,
so
why do
like
we have to? What's 2065 gonna like
that's
make
what
a
I'm.
difference?
That's yeah. What's 2065 going to make a difference? What's I
What
just
we
don't
can clone people
understand
by then?
what or like what did you find that needs to be sealed till 2065? Like
Yeah, that's
why
weird.
or like and like you're already dead. So who are they going to prosecute
Yeah, let's open it. I say.
anyway? So But with scientific records and medical records and all these things, typically, if you have are a part of a study, you can request information that at least deals with you from the study. Like it's supposed to be part of the.
Mm.
So, sets of these twins, and I think the triplets too, have requested like the Freedom of Information Acts, all these different things that have been passed. Like, hey, we want to see these records. So they were, after a ton of roadblocks, they were given some of these records so that they could read. However, they were all highly redacted. So there's
There's
no
no useful
information. There's
information,
no
yeah.
information. Again, why are these
Why is it
records?
redacted if it's usually the only reason to redact things is to protect the victim, but like,
But if you're requesting your own,
oh, your own info, like
yeah.
what? Yeah.
So who Avalon are they protecting in this study?
I don't know. That's weird.
That's where the conspiracy is. That's really the main conspiracy. It's like we
What
there's
are
this
they
crazy story.
hiding?
What are they hiding? What's going on?
Mm,
Um, and this one, like I mentioned, is really I have some crazy twin stories, but that's really this whole story. Is we
yeah.
know that there was um, there was a study performed on these twins. They were all separated. They were all taken from this Jewish adoption agency, typically from. It was actually really sad. Um, in the documentary, they talk about meeting their birth mom and how they were all like
Mm,
really big drinkers, but they kind of just thought they were big drinkers because they were young and they were like they pretty much had a frat at like you had two brothers, there were three of them, they're all the
yeah.
same age, they lived together, but then they like met their birth mom and she was a big drinker and she was like keeping up with them and they were all kind of like ooh.
Mm,
um and then I was really sad the whole time I was watching the documentary. It was they talk a little bit of a fallout from having the business together, the restaurant. The triplets kind of had some fallouts. I don't
mm.
think they're very close anymore. And then sadly, Eddie actually took his own life
God.
um, back in
Oh,
2000. Yeah, so it's really sad. And so the documentary is really good. Oh, so the documentary is called. I actually really enjoyed it. It's called Three Identical Strangers, and it's fun because it's. Robert and David, and then their wives, and then Eddie's wife, and then some of their aunt, their
that's
parents and
cool.
stuff. And so it's really cool.
What's it on?
Um, I just Googled it and I watched it on Tubi for free.
You love Tubi.
So that's where I watched it. So then yeah, so we know that this occurred. We know some of it, like it was supposedly for nature versus nurture, but these files are just
But
sealed for
yeah,
2065. And
if it was
why?
just nature versus nurture, there's no way.
But why? I just don't understand how files can be sealed. Again, I do
I
for
mean,
like
I get it for some things.
for something like you said for protecting victims. So like I think about like juvenile records and how you hear in
Yeah.
movies like oh those are sealed. I get that. Like yeah, no one needs to know certain things, but like when it's
And
a
like same
scientific
with like
study,
police reports, like if the perpetrator requests police reports, like all the victim statements are redacted, which I
yeah.
think is good because that's protecting. But
But in a scientific
yeah,
study, why on earth would a scientific study deserve to be protected for more than
sealed.
100 years?
Yeah, that's weird. What
Crazy.
happened?
That's
What they
what I'm
find out?
saying. What they find out. Um, So, and then there's just a couple twin stories that I wanted to read, but I wanted to ask you: have you said your sisters are fraternal? But have you? Is
Hmm.
there any weird twin things that you've noticed, just like growing up watching twins?
Mm,
Not to put you on the spot, like
they're very, very different, which is
yeah,
funny. Like total opposite personalities.
almost like
Um,
mirror twins,
yeah,
because
like
there's like
alter egos of each
yeah,
other.
like they're like split,
Um,
two halves of the same
yeah,
person.
but they are like I do think because like I'm close with my siblings, but I do think when it's a twin, there's like a special bond. Like Charlie and Molly are each other's like person
Person, yeah,
and like safety, like because Charlie has autism, and so like before she like got on the right medication and like had it all figured out, like she would get very anxious at school, and
Hmm.
like sometimes all she needed to do was like hug Molly, and
Yeah.
like she would be good. Like
Yeah.
I think there is like that's, but and it's not like, you know how sometimes it's like, oh, when my twin feels pain, like I feel pain.
Yeah.
Like it's not that crazy, but like to an extent, yes. Like I feel like they know when the other one's like not doing good, even if they're
Yeah.
not together.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
those are just like little things, but it is, I do think there is like a special like
Do you
bond.
think
It's weird.
this is I hear I had a couple different ideas for this episode, but then we talked about how I was like, well, I don't care. Like, I almost want it to be a little bit shorter. I want it. So
Yeah.
there was a story about the silent twins. I don't know if you've heard about them,
Yes, I have
but
heard
they
about them.
I was thinking about telling that story too, and I decided not to. But they had like their own language and stuff, and
Yeah.
all this different stuff. And then I was also going to come up with like 5 questions to ask your sisters. So you should still maybe ask these, but I'm just
Okay.
tell me we don't have to put it on the podcast. But I didn't even come up with them. But like I just like I wanted to be like, hey, like if you found out that you had a secret triplet,
Yeah.
what would you feel? Would that be a good thing, or would you be like, ah, like
Yeah, would that be scary?
so I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I should ask them.
but and at the same time, that might it's a totally different scenario because they're twins, and then if they found out there was a third,
Yeah. And
it's not
also I
like
think their age too. Like they're
yeah,
13, so if they found out right now, like it might
yeah. That's what
be
I mean.
different than
Like,
finding out when you're like 20.
or even like 6, because if you find out that you have a
Yeah.
triplet and you're a 6, it doesn't matter because kids just bond.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like right now, would that be because maybe those girls that were 6 or 7, maybe the psychologists were right. Like finding
Yeah.
out when you're at that age you have a twin and to be like,
I here's the thing, I
I feel
don't
like that's
think
still
it would
young.
have, yeah, I don't think it would ever be like bad news. I don't think.
Yeah. And then I was there was other things too of like you should just ask more like questions about being twins because I'm just fascinated now by
Yeah.
like do they. I was gonna have him be like, okay, Avalon, I don't even want you to read these. I was like, literally, I was like gonna text you and be like, is there a way that's not creepy for me to get these answers? Like literally have them type them up and then like email
No,
me a
they would have,
document.
yeah, they would have done it.
I know, but then there was the like I was gonna ask like, do you ever not like, and I was trying to think of and the reason I didn't do it is because I couldn't think of how to phrase things, but like you have a twin, you have that built-in person. Is that
Hmm.
ever like a negative thing to you? Like that you have someone
I mean, it is like they're each other's person, but they also, and this
like
could just be
fight
Charlie and
like
Molly, but they
yeah.
fight a lot.
Yeah.
It's like one second they're like hugging and like cuddling, and then the next they're like yelling and screaming at each other. But I'm
Yeah,
like,
but I
is
feel like
that a
that can be
twin thing or is
sibling
that a
or there's sibling.
sister like
Yeah.
teenage thing, you
I know.
know?
So that's and so I was just trying to think of like weird. So when you're if you hang out with them next week, just try to think of like questions to ask them that you haven't about twins and let me know
Okay,
because I
okay.
was like, oh. But that's the thing because like you think about oh having a twin would be so fun, having so fun, and you don't want them to be like oh talk bad about each other. But
Yeah.
like, does that ever
Is that
tiring? Like,
ever?
is that
Yeah.
like are
I
you ever
mean,
like
that was
oh
like my mom was scared to have twins because she is like, that's a lot of pressure. Like, she was like, I don't want them to always be comparing themselves to
exactly?
the other one.
Well, and that's the other thing too is like even in my like student teaching, there was we had several sets of twins, and like one I didn't even know they were fraternal twins. It was a boy and a
Yeah.
girl. Didn't even know they were siblings because
Yeah. They're
they
that
like
different.
didn't get along. Like because and it like it was and it was kind of sad. Well, you had one that was like was on the spectrum, so insanely
Hmm.
smart, all these different things, and one that like but was like really struggled really socially, and you had one that was like
Mm,
really good socially but then like struggled with like school and all these kind of things, and
yeah.
then like it almost like divided them, and you're like but it was like the
Mm,
comparatively yeah I don't know, and then yeah and so it's just
yeah.
fun to and it was fun to like being a part of the teaching side of things to be like seeing how like they like they're twins so they almost like need each other but almost being
Yeah.
separated is good for them so that they don't compare and you can
Yeah,
build
that
confidence
was
in one. And so it's like so hard to know, but I'm just like, oh, twins are so fascinating.
yeah, that was one thing that because like my mom like talked to a lot of like other twin moms or whatever,
Yeah.
like especially when it came to school, like do I have them be in the same class? Do I put them in
Yeah.
separate classes? And all of them pretty much said like for elementary school, it's important for them to be in the same class.
Yeah.
And then like in middle school and high school, like middle school, they can have like some classes together, but not all
Yeah.
of them. And then by high school, like they can be more independent.
Yeah.
Um, and that's
Well, that's
how,
kind of
yeah.
the twins. Oh, this was in my fourth grade class that I had a bunch of twins,
Hmm.
and I even feel like by like, I definitely would feel like kindergarten through like third grade keep them together,
Like
but even
for
by fourth
sure.
grade, I feel like it's like when that like that pre-puberty,
Hmm.
like
Well, it's like that's when you start making friends, and like
yeah, and
with
find
my
like you
twins,
their
like
personalities
Charlie's
really.
friends were mean to Molly, like,
Oh, it
and
pisses me off.
it's hard
Yeah.
because it's
So.
like, is this person just friends with me because they're friends with my twin? Like, there's all
Hmm.
these different insecurities that come with that, I think. So I do think it's so cool to be a twin, but I do think it's like makes it hard
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is I feel
than
like
just having a normal sibling.
the dynamics would be so hard to navigate, and then even as an adult too, because I'm not actually going to read any of these stories, but like people talk about like, oh, me and my twins, you do everything together, and then like I moved, and you're like,
Yeah.
you miss some, and you're like that person, you are each
Yeah.
other's person. So I don't know. It's just, it's
That's
crazy.
crazy. I'll have to like look up. I'm sure there's like some like questions to ask twins,
Well,
or
no,
I can look
like, well,
up
and that's the thing. I was even going to ask them things like, have you guys ever experienced anything? Because that's the other thing too. Is I feel
like
like
interesting.
even as I don't know if you feel this way about, but like there's so many times where I'm like, I need to be better about like asking stupid questions to my like siblings and stuff. And so
Hmm.
like with them, like you like grew up with them, you helped raise them, all these different things. But like ask them, be like, hey, have you guys ever experienced something that's like crazy that you feel like is because you guys are
Yeah,
twins? Like that just
that
like
would be
you've
cool. Yeah.
never, and they might say no, and they might have
Yeah.
not have anything, but like sometimes I feel like you gotta,
Yeah. Like if I
because
pinch you, will you feel it?
not even like that, but like have they ever had like the same dream that they've talked about?
That's
You
true.
know,
That would be
because
interesting.
and like not even like a scary dream, but like have they just been like, oh yeah, like we talk about this dream, like
Yeah.
one of the stuff that like they wouldn't even tell your mom because it wasn't necessarily bad or scary or
Yeah. Because to them,
so.
maybe it's normal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So crazy.
I
Anyways,
know. I like that. So what do you think? What do you think they're hiding? Do you kind of are
that
just like, I don't know?
that's truly I have no clue because I feel like I'm like it has to be something crazy, right? If it's locked, but like I don't even know what could be crazy about
I
twins being
wonder.
separated.
It's got to be something like genetic, probably.
I truly think it's more like there were hundreds of twins involved that I
That's
think they're
just so
hiding
messed up. Like
and they
it just
don't
they
want.
didn't go about it ethically.
Yes, and I feel like yeah, they just like they don't want people to know the extent of how much they did
And have
or
people
and
suing
or
them, and
something like because that was the thing too. So in this they talked about the mental health part of things and they actually and I wasn't going to talk about this part but actually maybe it's relevant. They talked about when their moms, David and Robert, said that when they were toddlers, they would like both their moms said they used to like bang their heads against the wall, almost like a separation anxiety kind of thing.
oh
And so I'm like, what if there were like the mental health was awful for a lot of these kids, and there was a lot of like deaths and
yeah,
you know what I mean, and like bad things, and so they're like,
suicide and
but then I'm still like, but you did this study, and if that's the outcome, you should publish it so that no one would ever
does
try to
that.
do it again.
Yeah,
Like, so then I don't know. So I think
yeah,
it's more
that's
like dark and
weird.
sinister of like they did something very unethical
Mm,
that not even because then I'm like, but then they should still release it because I don't give it. They should go to prison. But I'm like, but maybe
yeah,
it's something like protecting the families of
yeah,
suicides
but
and of mental
still,
health and
dang,
crazy
that's
though, right?
crazy. Yeah.
Do you have any theories? Again, there's like not a ton to
No.
theorize about, but
The only thing I could think of is like maybe like they found something about like I don't know,
like,
clones, but like genetic wise. But
yeah.
also like I don't know. 'Cause I'm like what could possibly have been learned from like seeing kids like being raised in different environments? Like what is so crazy about that?
Well, and the other thing, I can go even crazier, and because they talked about them filming them, I'm like, what if it was like a whole, became like a whole like
Mm,
pedophile involved? You
oh,
know what I mean?
jeez.
Like,
He usually is.
so like they were filming stuff and then blah blah blah. But then again, I'm like, release that and let's get someone in prison.
Release the tape.
Release the files. Release all the files.
For
All
real.
of them.
All of them.
All of them. And when I say all of them, I mean all of them now.
All of them. Unredacted, please.
Unredacted, all of them, except for victim
Well,
reports, like
yeah,
you
yeah,
said.
yeah,
But if you're
yeah.
thinking about, are they talking about those files? Yes, I'm talking about those
Yes,
files.
those ones. The infamous files. Not the X Files. The E
Release those too.
Files.
Release the files. Anyways, that's
That was
all I got
fun.
for you.
Yeah, now I have homework. I'm gonna go talk to my twinners.
Yeah, if it comes up.
No. I would I honestly would love to have twins.
I think it'd be
Children.
fun.
Yeah.
It'd be a
I'm
lot
like,
of work,
because I
but
could do it.
like I already did.
I've already did it. I just didn't birth them. And look, they turned out awesome. They're so funny.
They cry at twilight. That's all you need.
They get me viral on TikTok. Eh.
Yeah. Careful, you're in California and you're gonna get sued for using them for content.
Well, she
Careful.
consented to it. Oh, well.
I'm just kidding. You didn't make
Anyway,
money off of it.
am I doing the outro?
Yeah. It's you.
Thanks for watching Conspiracy Snacks and Tinfoil Hats. Drop your theories below of what they're hiding about those twins. Um,
Also, tell us your
and
crazy twin stories if you have a
yeah,
twin.
if you're a twin, let us
I love.
know.
That's the thing. I didn't read them, but I love reading twin stories. They're so fun.
Yeah, I should read some twin stories. But yeah, tell us your twin stories, what you think. Follow us on all our social snacks and tinfoil hats. Watch us when we stream live, usually on Wednesdays, on Twitch and TikTok and Kick and all the things. And
Don't go to Kick. I'm just
don't
kidding.
go to Kick.
I think you can go to Kick.
And if we go missing, blame
Blame the files.
yeah, the files.
Blame the files. That's why we want them released. They protect
Yeah.
us.
Exactly.
Wait.
What?
Yeah, releasing the files
No,
protects us.
don't blame the files. Blame the people that seal them.
Blame the judges.
Blame the
Who are you blaming?
sealers.
Blame the sealers.
Blame the sealers right now.
Release the files. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.